we have, don't be surprised if the market acts a little bit skittish and pulls back, because you're just getting so overbought that's just the nature, of the beast right there. Same thing. You had a little bit of a rest day in the SPY, 93 stochastic. So you're pretty overbought over there also. It was choppy yesterday for the most part in the SPY. Even the last couple of days, like you get a gap and then to sit around. Yesterday, you flushed at the open and then you sat around. I'd expect more of the same till you kind of work off this overbought condition. That's just going to be that's going to be super important. Let's take a look at the list, because there's obviously a huge group of earnings movers. The plays have been really steady for the most part the last week. Like there's been 4 or 5 really easy ones like every single day. I know Zaman a lot of people caught this, like Mitch, and all day was really killing it in this Abil yesterday in the chat room. This was probably, that was the hottest I've seen him. He nailed every single one. This break here, this dip here, and that was pretty good. So there's definitely a ton of opportunity in the market. So, keep an eye on what all day's trading. If it's a small cap, and of course, Zaman's been killing it on the, on the upside with some of the larger caps, some of the bigger name stocks. So those are just kind of a handful of, setups that are really working right now that you'll have to keep an eye on. So favorite play for today, I think, is going to be this Roku. And there's a lot of these bad boys right now, but we're going to have to start ordering these things. Like there's almost too many gappers coming on. And so we'll have to definitely, you'll definitely want to start ranking these things, because there's a lot of little earnings plays running around right now. But I think Roku's my favorite because, first of all, you got an IPO stock here. Roku and Sale are going to be my favorites because they're IPO stocks. I'd keep an eye on this one, especially this one could go right out of the gate for an ORB or something like that. So I think that one's going to be, I think that one we got to move to the top of the list. Let's see where this thing is. There we go. It's like when you're playing these things, right, it's really important to start ranking them. Let's get rid of this. Well, I was a dud yesterday. This Mitch is day 2. DDD, keep it on list for day 2. This boot I would keep on a list for day 2 also. You can erase these off the gapper list. This light was a hoe yesterday. We shorted it, actually. See, same type of deal. This is actually the go-to setup that I'm noticing for easy setups. Like when you get the gappers, we're getting a lot of this type of action, like where you pop up and then you come back and you start rounding above the 9s. And I'm seeing this play like every day. That's really kind of your low-hanging fruit type of trade, because it's a gimme. Like if you pull back like that and it's just really light and you start to round above the 9, you're starting to see that kind of ramp like every single day in a lot of these gappers. See, on Mitch, it did the same kind of thing. Like you popped up and then you came back, you started rounding above the 9. It's a really, really simple pattern, but it's effective. So I'd keep an eye on, some of those bad boys. Like when you start to see that, that kind of rounding, put that on your list. Like a lot of times when we have a gapper, like if they don't go at the open in ORB, like it's easy to forget about them, but don't forget about them. Like they will, they could really shape up. So let's take a look at today's play. So I'd add this bell as long as I'd look for patterns, intraday patterns, as long as it holds above 1440. Anything under, I'd leave it alone. This upland too, same type of deal. So you can see with this one, it is breaking out the all-time highs. You got 37.44 is its all-time high. 47 is all-time high. Anything above that, you want to look for patterns. The one thing on this one, the float's a little bit low for its price. You may get a spread on it. And so that's going to be important. Like if it holds, you can take intraday patterns on it if it holds above here. Like you never want to take an intraday pattern on a stock like if it's below resistance, because it could just run into resistance and then roll back. So you need that you need that thrust over it to really, really get this thing going. So I just keep an eye on that, you know, but otherwise it looks totally fine. Sale is going to be a good one, I think. As long as it holds out above this 29.10. So like something like that, I'd always kind of like to leave. I usually leave myself a note on PC 2000. That way I'm, you know, that way I'm not forgetting like, okay, where are the key levels? Because sometimes like when you're intraday trading, it's easy to forget like the main levels. And then you're taking this, you know, intraday trade and it doesn't pan out. And you're sitting there going, why didn't it work? Well, a lot of times it doesn't work because, right, you're under the resistance spot. And so it just doesn't have the juice to keep going. But you can see on the other side of things, this is an IPO stock. Guys, historically, like if a stock is an IPO stock, meaning like it's a recent issue, when it has earnings out, what's going to happen is, you know, because it's a new issue, people get excited. Like when a surprise earnings comes out and you get an IPO stock, people think this could be the next Microsoft, the next Dell, right? Because it's a newer company. And so people can pile in and you really see some good movement in those type of names. So like anytime you see like on your charts, you don't see any past history, that's actually a really good sign. Like that type of earnings plays we really, really like. Roku, so we get Roku. I'd add this CMG, but this is a B level to me. So like I'd keep that one below AYX and Goose. AYX is another one that's a 2017 IPO. This one's going to move really well. It's already kind of trending pre-market. Hey, Felix, what's going on, baby? What's going on in the Philippines? All day. What's up, Sonos? Brad, what's your fave? Give me the top two. Big Brad. All right. Definitely add the Goose in. The caveat on the Goose is I won't hit this thing unless it's above this trend line. The Goose, it could very well just fade here. You need this thing to get above this trend line and make sure it stays above these two moving averages. If it doesn't, any intraday pattern you take is going to smack into this resistance and come back down. The Elf Lord. So this one is actually a bear flag, and it's dropping out of it. This is going to be pretty good on the short side. Then we got this TGT. You can see already it's it's got a decent range on it. You've got room down on this one to 220. So this will be one of my faves to potentially short for ORB. I'm noticing on these ORB shorts, like if they work in like the first like few minutes and then they pop back and they might refade later. They might refade, they might refade a little bit later. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye on. That kind of happened yesterday with this. What was this one that we were watching? BC. Oh yeah, car. It's like check it, like see on car. This has been happening quite a bit, but you'll get like really good shreds to the downside. Like see how it like gapped down and then it looked like it popped up and then broke back under the VWAP and it looked like it was going to go back down and then it goes bloop. It comes back, but then when that 9 EMA catches up, that's when you're getting like a really, really kind of nice, right? That's when you're getting a really nice, nice mover on these things. So that's when, you got to kind of watch that break under the VWAP, but you also, when it happens, you need that 9 EMA to be really tight on it. Yeah, what time's it in the Philippines over there, buddy? PTLA on your watch list also. Test of resistance. This one actually moves okay for the most part. I've twice shorted this thing on gap downs though, and it's fucking popped back. So I'm a little bit wary on this one. I got a little PTSD on this thing. And then you can see on this ACAD, you got another one that's like a big multi-year kind of breakdown over here. It's starting to curl back though. So I'd be careful. Like if this thing, you know, I want them to see like even pre-market, I want to see them kind of rolling towards the lows. And then I think this PRGO, you know, as long as it can get stay under 71, I'll take a gander on this one too. But see, like at 72, I won't. I need to see this thing at or below breakout level to really kind of get this thing going. So that's the list, my friends. Out of these guys, right? I have a handful. Well, I have a handful that are, you know, going to be a little bit more powerful than the others. But make sure you kind of really manage your list properly, because there's going to be too many plays going on sometimes. Everybody ready to roll? Good. All right, let's do what we do. Remember, Roku, sale. We've got some good ones that are the phase. Rank these things. Rank these things and make sure you got your 6-window layout, right? On your TC2000, got to have 6 windows. Put them on your 6-window layout and then make it go time, show time. All right, let's go trade. Let's go make some money. As you guys know, right, the first 15, 30 minutes of the day, best time to trade and make money. So I'll be doing what I do. I'll keep the screen share on and we'll get this party going. All right. Rock and roll.